Hello, I want to welcome you to today's presentation. We shall be looking at stress management. Stress management. Um, I am counselor and pastor James Omari, and I'm here to share with you today a very interesting topic because of what is happening in today's world. Because of what is happening, so many people are being anxious. They're being stressed by the pandemic of corona that is happening. So I want to welcome you in a very special way so that we can look into this element of stress. Now, as I said, I'm counselor and Pastor James Omari, and I have a YouTube with me, Pastor and Counselor Omari underscore neighbor. You can go search it. You'll find several other presentations plus many other upcoming presentations that I'll be presenting. Now, let's go to what the Bible says about our health. Actually, I claim this promise over you, my listener and my viewer. Third John, it only has one chapter, and that is Third John verse 2. It says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." What a wonderful prayer. What a wonderful promise to claim, that God wishes us to have all things, to prosper in all things, and also in health. The issue of stress, as we are going to see, is one of the psychological issues that affects so many people depending on how people perceive it. But I want to claim this promise as we begin, that, beloved, you may prosper. It is also my wish that you prosper. By the end of listening to this video and looking at it, may you prosper. May you prosper in all things. So we shall be considering stress, and I want us to define what stress is. Stress, it is the human reaction to events in our environment. How do you react? Right now, we are faced with Corona, COVID-19. How do you react to such a situation? Now, according to Han Sele, defines stress as wear and tear on the body. Okay? Now, let's see stress. We are still defining stress, and it's good for you to note that there is good stress. It is called eustress. EUSTRESS. That is good stress. And some of the examples of good stress is getting into college, yeah, getting engaged or married, winning an award, passing an exam, and you can list so many others. I heard of one of our governors who was speaking about the kind of stress that Corona has brought, saying it is a moment when even governments will consider equipping their own hospitals. So, according to his perception, it means the Corona pandemic has also brought some good stress, what we call eustress. Okay, now let's see another definition of stress is bad stress. Okay, stress from bad sources. We call it distress or distress. DI, then stress. Now, this can come from a difficult work environment, like at the moment. So many people are working at home. I'm working at home actually as I do this presentation, but I don't consider it a bad stress. But there are those who have difficult work environment. I deal with soldiers. Most of them are KDF in my pastoral work, and the environment that they work, it is quite difficult. You can imagine working in a place that you encounter with the bullets and bombs and all those things. Very difficult environment can lead to bad stress. Now, overwhelming sights and sounds, okay, especially to young ones, sound, they get so stressed up, and we need to be cautious about this aspect of sights and sounds. Right now, people dying of the disease can generate some bad stress in you. Okay, there's also threat of personal injury. okay, from many other sources or many other things. Now let's see the types of stress. We have 4 types of stress. Number 1, there's what we call general stress. Have you heard of somebody saying, I'm stressed? Just like that. Yeah? And everyone has this kind of stress. Okay? It revolves itself within a day or 2. No intervention is necessarily required. Okay? In general stress, it is on a day-to-day basis. Another type of stress is cumulative stress. Okay? Cumulative stress, just from the word cumulative, it keeps on piling. It builds up in your body. Okay? It becomes more difficult to alleviate your symptoms. You may have more serious physical symptoms. You may have more serious mental anguish. Now, this cumulative stress can wear your body out. Another type of stress is what we call acute traumatic stress. Okay? And this appears from critical incident. It produces a considerable physiological distress. Remember, distress is stress from bad sources, hence making it a bad stress. Okay? A normal reaction to abnormal events. Okay? Right? That's another type. The 4th type of stress we have is post-traumatic stress. And this is very severe stress. It is produced by severe physiological trauma. Now, it is created by unresolved critical incident stress. Produces lasting changes in you. I don't know which kind of stress you're going through, especially at such a time when we are experiencing a pandemic that has brought so many countries into lockdowns and other curfew and restrictions. I don't know which type, but this presentation is here to help you to know how you can adapt. Now, we have general adaptation syndrome, and I'm going to take you through some 1, 2, 3, 4 stages of adaptation. Number 1, it is what we call the alarm reaction stage. Under this stage, we have the fight or flight. The fight or flight response, which causes you to be ready for physical activity. Okay? And however, it is good to note that it decreases the effectiveness of the immune system, which makes you more susceptible to illnesses. Now, the fight and flight response, it is brought about physically when the level of adrenaline goes up in your body because a particular stimulus in the environment, so it causes an alarm. Stage 2 of adaptation is called of adaptation. Okay? If stress continues, the body adapts to the stressor it is being exposed to. Now, stressor is what leads to stress. Okay? Now, if the stressor is starvation, the person experiences a reduced desire for physical activity to conserve energy, and the absorption of nutrients from any food intake is maximized. Okay, stage of adaptation. Another stage that you have, stage 3, is stage of exhaustion. Now, stress persists for a long time. The body resistance may be reduced or collapse quickly. Now, people who experience long-term stress may have heart attacks, severe infections, or chronic pain or illness. Okay? Now, friends, it's good for you to know that stress is inevitable. But we need to know how to identify these stressing things. So we have short-term physical stress symptoms, and you may realize you experience dry mouth, cold skin, cold hands or feet, increased sweating, rapid breathing, fast heart rate, tense muscles, feelings of nausea, vomiting, butterflies in your stomach, diarrhea, and the desire to urinate. Now, these are some of the short-term physical stress symptoms that one might go through. What about the long-term stress? Insomnia, that has to do with sleeping patterns. Okay? Change of appetite. By the way, in such a situation that you are going through, you need to be very careful about your appetite. Because there are people who get stressed and they develop what you call anorexia or bulimia. These are defects or disorders, eating disorders that are very common. Okay, I believe in future we'll look at that also, so that we can be able to avoid those two disorders. Now, these sexual disorders, these are long-term symptoms of stress, ache and pain, frequent colds, feeling of tense and long-term tiredness, and prone to illness. Why prone to illness? Because stress will wear you out. Okay? And also, if you don't look out, it will impact on your immunity system. Now, let us look at the behavior. Okay? Behavioral stress symptoms. We have yawning. You find people yawning now and again. Talking too fast. Okay? These are behavioral. Talking too loud. Okay? Because you feel like people do not listen to you. Okay? Fiddling. We have twitching. We have nail biting. People biting their nails. Grinding teeth. Another one is drumming fingers. Another behavioral is pacing, overreacting. Another one is emotional. We also have defensive, irritable, irrational, defensive, okay, and hostile. Now, these are behavioral stress symptoms that we experience. Aggressiveness. Have you ever seen someone who becomes aggressive simply because of something that is stressing them? Now, behavioral stress symptoms, these symptoms will have a negative effect on your performance by reducing your effectiveness, making you accident prone, causing you to be forgetful, causing you to be very negative. You may neglect your appearance, you may make poor judgments, causing you to make more mistakes, increasing your absenteeism, especially to students or even those who go to work, those who are employed, due to behavioral stress symptoms. Now, what about performance stress symptoms? You may not make good decisions, hence affecting your performance. Your fine motor skills are affected. For example, if you are driving and you are stressed, you realize that even your skills are endangered. You may no longer enjoy your work. Okay, your attention span may be affected. You may have more negative thoughts. Okay, your self-confidence will also suffer. Remember, stress affects us holistically. Now, you may have difficulty concentrating. All of your positive energy is consumed. Now, these are some of the performance stress symptoms, and I want us to now go to the next part, which is very important. And in this section is now what we call management. How do you manage stress? How can you conquer strength? Through healthy living. Okay? You need to examine your diet. Okay? Lower your salt intake. Lower your intake of refined sugars and carbohydrates. Lower your caffeine intake. Okay? Another way, you need to add the following into your diet. This is healthy living to conquer stress. You need to add vegetables, fruits, complex carbohydrates, vitamins, water. Let's continue about the healthy living. Healthy living, you need to rest. Okay? You need to get a minimum of 6 hours of continuous rest. Okay? How else can you conquer stress? Through exercise. At least 20 minutes or 5 times a week. Break a sweat to release endorphins. Just recently, we were watching the president of Uganda doing his exercises in his own state house, without going out. So you don't need to go out, especially at such a time, to expose yourself to the pandemic or to the virus, but you can do just a normal exercise in-house. Now, another way you can overcome this is through talking things out with someone you trust. It could be a family member, a good friend, or a professional counselor or a therapist. You need to talk it out. Talk it out. Okay? The common Chinese proverb that says a problem shared is a problem half solved. And that is very true. So you need to talk to someone, talk things out over the phone. You need to talk. Don't keep quiet, okay? Something else, make an increased effort to organize your life. Ask for help. Delegate things when you need to. Okay? You need to be organized. In your home, you need to be organized. At work, you need to be organized. If you're a student, you need to be organized. And where possible, ask for help. Okay? We are still looking at the healthy living. how we can live healthy, and very important, learn to manage your anger. Friends, there are people who have anger levels. You need to learn to manage your anger levels. Anger affects your health. It causes you to overreact to many situations. Now, to those who are readers in the Bible, Ephesians 4 verse 26 says, do not let the sun go down when you're still angered. Okay? So make sure a day does not pass with you being angry. Now, we get angry often because some people do not want, do not do what, we get angry often because some did not do what we thought they should do. Like right now, there are so many things about what the government should have done to curb this corona pandemic. So we get so angry with what we think we should have done. Now rethink the solution, the situation, and learn to be more flexible. We need to learn to be more flexible, even in our thinking. Now, fill your life with fun things to do. Keep your sense of humor. We call it play therapy. I was listening to some clips as we go through this pandemic, and someone was making humor out of what is happening. Students are at home, parents are at home, and one child asked the parents the difference between email and Gmail. And you know what the parents answered? That email is when electricity is used, okay, when things are done electronically, and Gmail is when a generator is used. Now that was the definition of this parent, but I want to believe it's out of making a sense of humor from the scenario, plus so many other things that are happening around to create a sense of humor even out of a stressful event. Now take charge of your life. Act appropriately. Don't simply react to stressful situation. Find balance in all that you do. You need to find balance. Okay? We are still looking at healthy living, and this is where many people fall. Too many people look for an easy answer to stress management by misusing alcohol, drugs, marijuana, and medicine and pills. There are some over-the-counter medicines which are being mentioned right now. And I know there are people who have already stocked them in their house just in case of anything that they should be taking. Be careful. To avoid stress, you need to be watchful. Do not misuse these things. Bars are closed. But I think you've heard even over the media, people who are going out, secretly into these very, very bars and holding parties, and misusing some of these things that we are talking about here, and they're exposing them to further stress. Some of them right now are in jail, and you can imagine the kind of stress that they are going through. We all need a lengthy list of things that will help us to relax. Another way is to relax. Personally, I love reading and writing. It helps me to relax. Making presentations and helping people outside there helps me to relax. But you need to look for ways to relax. Relaxing needs to be part of your daily routine. There are those who can relax by going to the farm, their kitchen garden, and doing some 1 or 2, 3 things. Okay, there are those who will decide to, have a massage. It's one of relaxing. Well, this one might not be possible right now. Going canoeing or having a ship ride, it might not be working at the moment, but you need to relax. Anyway, you need also to relax. Have time for the sun. By the way, it is scientifically proven that when you expose yourself to the rays of the sun, they help the eyes. Okay, through the eyes, the rays will hit the eyes. They also help you. Later on, we'll present on how helpful is the sun rays. Okay, stress management. We are still on stress management, and I want us to take a short test. As you watch this, I want you to take a short test with me and see if you really have stress. Okay? Do any of these apply to you? Now, I want you to be very honest, because there is no right or wrong answer. It's about helping one another. Now, let us look at stress in terms of workload. And I want you to answer the following questions with a yes or a no. Number 1, always too much work, never able to relax. Number 2, high pressure periods, deadlines, tests come all at once. 3, 1 or 2 difficult courses take all my time, no time left for anything. Answer them. Efforts often seem for nothing, don't get satisfying results. Number 5, seems like I have a lot more work than roommate. Friends, I have to work harder than a roommate and friends to get the same results. My job takes up too much time, I can't afford to cut back. My stress is complicated by commitments I can't get out of. Now, I want to believe you have done that, and the next thing is how to solve that, because we are speaking about stress management. Now, if you said yes to many work stressors, you might consider one of the following. 1, consult a counselor about time management and or priority setting. Number 2, seek out a tutor or other study skills to help. Number 3, talk to the career center about work style. Now, let us consider stress that come out of people, okay? Because stress can come from work, it can come from people. Like right now, my friends, you are locked in, you are staying at home, and could be you can answer this question very well. Number 1, tension with family, friends, or romantic partner. You can answer yes or no. In compatibility with roommate, habits, schedule, lifestyle. Number 3, change in relationship, love lost, gained new romantic partner. Number 4, death of a close friend or a family member. Number 5, parents divorce, separation or conflict, adjustment to parents, new partner, interpersonal conflict, trouble expressing needs or standing up for rights. Number 7, reluctant to ask for help. Number 8, trouble saying no. Okay, now if you answer these people's stresses yes, then you might consider doing the following things. Number 1, talk to a friend or a counselor about the problem. Okay, go to a program or assertive training or conflict. By the way, in one of my presentation upcoming, I will look at assertiveness and conflict resolution. Now, take an interpersonal communication class. Now you can do so online. You can consider taking an interpersonal communication class online. Okay, now you need to look at this, the mind. Okay, stresses that originate from the mind. Okay, you can answer this to know if your stresses are majorly from internal. Number 1, worry about what people think. Number 2, more time spent thinking about what can go wrong than what can go right. Number 3, more time spent thinking about what did go wrong than where you can go from here. Number 4, no time to think, always having to do. Okay. Number 5, motivation problems, difficult getting started. Okay. Number 6, tendency to get too worked up when under pressure or in a crisis. Number 7, tendency to get down, dwell on how bad things are, often feel guilty. Number 8, now if you answered some of these questions yes, if you said yes to many of these mind stressors, you are experiencing a lot of internally generated stress. Information or counseling on self-talk, this is what you need. Okay, irrational beliefs and reinterpretation might be a good place to start. Feel free to contact a counselor anytime. Now, body. There are some people who get stressed just from how they look, their body appearances. So if you answer yes or no, at the end of the day, you will see how to manage this. Number 1, insufficient sleep, frequent cold sickness. Number 3, negative effects from caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, etc. Number 4, uncomfortable chair, posture, excessive time, hunch over books or computer. Let's see, number 5, ever strain, wrong glasses, poor lighting, computer screen overload. Number 6, inadequate nutrition, missed meal, reliance on junk food. Number 7, lack of exercise. Number 8, adverse environment. Now, if you answered yes to many of these body stressors, then try the following. Number 1, exercise regularly. Choose healthy food. Number 2, Change your environment. Number 3, it could be lighting or space. Okay. Number 4, reduce or eliminate caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol intake. Okay. Number 5, get enough sleep. Now, having said all that, I want us to look at other important stress management hints. Just in brief, how else can you manage stress? Number 1, recognize what you can change. Very important. Can you change your stresses by avoiding or eliminating them? Okay. Can you reduce their intensity? Manage them over time instead of immediately. Can you shorten your exposure to stress? Take a break or leave. Can you devote the time necessary to make a change? Okay. Now, other ways of which you can manage stress is build your physical reserves. How do you do that? Exercise for cardiovascular fitness 3 to 4 times a week. Eat well-balanced nutrition meal. Maintain your ideal weight. Avoid nicotine, excessive caffeine, and other stimulants. Mix leisure with work. Take breaks and get away. Get enough sleep. Be consistent with your sleep schedule. Okay. How else can you manage stress? I want us to look at this. Air quality, free of charge. Right now people are paying millions and thousands for a ventilator, but God has given us free air, so you need to make use of this free air quality to improve air quality. How do you do it? Ban smoking, open windows, okay? Use an ionizer, have a plant in the room, okay? But you need to be very specific which kind of plant, okay? Having that many of these plants, they produce carbon dioxide at night, so you need to be very watchful. How else can you stress? Through lighting, okay? Bad lighting can cause eye strain and increase fatigue, as can light that is too bright or light that shines directly into your eyes, okay? Fluorescent, there are some houses that have put this fluorescent light, can also be tiring. What you may not appreciate is that the quality of light may also be important. Okay, try experimenting with working by a window or using a full spectrum bulb in your desk lamp. You will probably find that this improves the quality of your working